Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kim, and today we're going to be talking about my July reading wrap up. I know, it is September. I am behind. I completely am aware. I don't know. I am behind. So I'm hoping that I'll get this up very quickly, early September, and then also quickly record my August reading wrap up and get that up as well, because I'm really excited about my August wrap up, actually, because I read a lot of good books in August. So but this is my July reading wrap up. July for reading month was a little it was just okay. I read a couple books that I really did love, and then I read a lot of books that were just like okay. I mean, nothing was like terrible, but nothing like, I don't know. It was just kind of just a mediocre month, which is okay. I did a lot of just mood reading in the month of July. I did not get through my whole TBR in the month of July. So yeah, I think it was just kind of a lot of, I just like browsed Kindle Unlimited and found what was, I don't know, it sounded interesting. Or like I saw a couple of recommendations like on Instagram. I ended up reading those. So yeah. So bear with me, okay? Because it's been, 2 months since I've read some of these. The memory isn't that great. I read so much that it is hard for me to keep all these books straight in my head sometimes. Like I can, but like, I don't know. It's also just, I've talked about this before. It is hard to do these wrap ups and keep them spoiler free, which I guess I should mention. I do keep these wrap ups spoiler free, except if you feel like tropes are spoilers, because sometimes I do mention tropes. But other than that, yeah, I keep them spoiler free, which is, it's kind of hard to talk about books over and over again, like without getting into the nitty gritty, you know what I mean? Without it sounding just kind of very superficial when I talk about these books, because some of them I want to like really talk about like in depth, and I don't know, maybe I need to just do some videos like that where I could just talk about them with spoilers, and then if people watch them, they do. If they don't, because like sometimes I have all these thoughts that I want to get out of my head, but if I don't know someone that's read the book, I don't have anyone to talk to about them. So anyways, we're just gonna go through my I have my Goodreads here, because something else that has just completely fallen to the wayside this year is my book journal. That is a long gone goal. That is not happening. I'll just tell you that right now. I can't tell you the last time I filled that out properly. So I just have my Goodreads up here, and I'm just going to go through them in the order I read them. I'm no longer going to give like spice ratings. I might talk about how like if I felt they were really spicy or not. But I don't think I'm going to give an actual rating, but I will give you my star rating and just like a little overview of the book, and if I liked it or not, and what I liked about it, what I didn't like about it. You know the drill if you've been here. So let's get into it. So the first book I read in the month of July was actually a novella that I saw being circulating around Instagram, and it intrigued me, so I read it. Also, I'll tell you this right up front, there's a lot of queer romances this month. That has just been my go-to lately. It's really like the main thing I want to be reading, so I'm reading it. So the first book I read was called Ripe and Ready, and like I said, it is a male novella, friends to lovers. It is by Elliot Kyle. And this is the first book of, I think, a multi-book series. I think another one actually just came out, so I might read that in September. These are just quick little reads. This book will make you feel maybe a little different about bananas after you read it, okay? That's all I'm gonna say about that. It's spicy. It's about two friends, Andy and Derek. They go on a trip to the Congo, to like see the gorillas and everything like that. And I think it's Andy who's been just like pining over Derek for like years, and finally just, take the plunge into that. I thought it was a really cute book. Actually, would have liked actually a full-length novel with these characters. I felt like the author did a really good job at making them like, having us get to know them and everything just in the short. I think this book is only 77 pages, so it's a very short. But yeah, I liked it a lot. I think like I said, I think you got to enough, like enough of the characters that you just wanted to know more, really. Actually, I wanted to know more about their friendship and everything leading up to them getting together. But I recommend it. I gave, I guess I should say what I gave it. I gave this 4 stars. Like I said, just a fun little quick read. I think I read it in like an afternoon. Yeah, again, it will make you feel a certain, maybe a certain way about bananas. I'll just tell you guys that right now. But yeah, it was fun. It was a fun little read. I recommend it. Okay, the next book I did was actually an audiobook. I was just in the mood for an audiobook. If you've been here, you know I don't really do those that often, but I've actually been doing them a little bit more and more. I find that while I'm working, if I put an audiobook on, it really helps me focus on my work. So I have been listening to them a little bit more often, and this one was an Audible original that I gave a chance. It's called The Waitress by K.L. Slater. This is a mystery thriller. It was all right. I gave this book 3 stars. I will say, I think take my ratings for thrillers with a grain of salt, because I am not a big thriller reader. I'm not a big thriller lover. I do like them every now and again. I think they can be fun if they, if the twists really get me and stuff like that. I just thought this one was like okay. So we follow our main character, Elisa, and she's like she has like a young son. She leaves him with her sister and she goes off to London to try to make a better life for herself. At least that's what she is making everyone believe, but you can from early on you get that she is also trying to escape some past issues, and it just goes through. It's a thriller, so I don't really want to talk a whole lot about it because I don't want to give anything away. I will say, like I said, I was just like okay. I don't think it was like that compelling of a story. It wasn't ever boring. I will say I listened to it, I think, in a couple days. I wanted to know what happens, but I also don't think like anything was too shocking, I guess, with what happened in it. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Sometimes I'm like, do I just not like thrillers, or have I just not read any really good ones yet? I don't know. Like I said, it was okay. I gave it 3 stars. It was free with my Audible subscription, so it was kind of like, why not? Why not try it? Okay, the next 2 books I read were a duet, and the first book actually was on my TBR for the month. One is called Traded and one is called Outed. They are both by Kimberly Knight. These are baseball romances. I also gave these both 3 stars each. They were, again, just okay. This wasn't my favorite writing. I think the story was there, but the writing wasn't there for me. I think that was kind of the problem. I'm talk about these as a whole. But the premise, like, set up for this is we have our characters Drew and Aaron. Aaron is one of like a younger, cockier player, and Drew is like an older, like usually, older player. He's like pretty chill and everything. He's not, one to get like, he's like complete opposite. They're complete opposites. I'll just say that. And they're on opposite teams. Drew is a pitcher and his team's playing Aaron's team, and like he hits Aaron with a pitch, I think, and they get like in this big fight on the field. And then shortly after, they're both traded. I think they're both traded to a whole other team. I don't think one is traded to one's team. I think they're both traded to a different team. Like I said, it's been a while since I read it. And then they're on a team together, right? And then they get to know each other or whatever. I do remember talking about this book with my husband. My poor husband just gets like my word vomit after I finish books, because I know he doesn't care if I spoil everything for him. So a lot of times I just sit there and yap, and he's such a good sport and he'll listen to me even though I'm sure he does not care. And has really no idea what these are about, right? But anyways, I do remember talking to him about this because I remember comparing this writing to another book that I read last year. And the problem, I think, with the writing for me is they tell me stuff, but they don't show me stuff. And what I mean by that is like they tell me the couple loves each other, right? They tell me the couple, knows one another, but I'm never shown that. There's not a lot of conversation, there's not a lot of dialogue where I feel like they are actually getting to know each other. It's just kind of like, oh yeah, and then they talked. Well, I want to know what they like. I don't know, like I don't like that all the time. I want to get to know the characters as they're getting to know one another. So I don't want to just be told like, oh, so they spent a month together and got close. Well, I want to read about that month together, and I want to know what they did that made them close. I guess, does that make sense? And I feel like that was part of the issue with this writing, is it was very much like just told me things happened. So I don't even feel like I really knew the characters like that well as I think I would have liked. But like I said, it was fine. I gave them both 3 stars. 3 stars for me is usually, you know, I think I've talked about it before. It's not like it's horrible. I think people out there can enjoy it. I mean, these both are pretty highly rated on Goodreads. They're just like not for me. The writing style is just like not there. There's just something missing for me to make me really like it. I was really excited to read these because I just really wanted a I love me a sports romance, and I love me a male sports romance even more. And I was excited to read a baseball one because I haven't read a whole lot of baseball. But yeah, it just wasn't there for me. But you know, it's fine. It was fine. Okay, and the next one is another male sports college romance, stepbrothers romance. Remember when I had a hang up about reading Chokehold about a stepbrothers romance? And since then, I think I've read like 3 or 4 stepbrother romances. You know, I don't know. I guess I got over that taboo situation. But the next book I read was Step in the Zone by Blaine Bellany. I gave this book, I gave it 4 stars on Goodreads, and I want to say I was between like the 3.5, 4 stars, but we'll just go with 4 stars because that's what I put on there, and I didn't know anything differently, and I can't remember. I do remember liking this book. I did go into this a little, because the characters are 18, and I don't know. I think I'm getting over that. Like, I have such a hang up on it. I think just because I just will just naturally, I'll just eat them up in my head. I just do it. I don't know. So I will say this is spicy. And like I said, they are 18 years old stepbrothers. So that might not be for everybody. And I totally get that. But we follow Raphael and Cody. And like Raphael is like, this book does have some darker themes like mental health and grief, processing grief. Raphael is struggling. His mom's just had it with him, and so she makes him go live with his father, with his new wife and newer wife and her son. And he also is not on good standings with them because he like messed up their wedding. And so he's just a very troubled individual. He is dealing with grief of losing his brother, and what the repercussions of losing his brother did to the family dynamic. And he just hates his dad. He just like kind of hates everyone, and he just feels like he wants to like ruin them even more. He hates Cody, his stepbrother, and he just kind of feels like he wants to, I don't know, just destroy him basically. So he, instead of like being like beating him up or going about, he kind of starts a relationship with him and feels like he'll more quietly like destroy him through that. But you know, and Cody is kind of like a goody two shoes, like, you know, the perfect, you know, in Raphael's eyes, he's like, you know, perfect son and everything, and he hates him for it, right? But yeah, and then their relationship develops from there. Like I said, I did really enjoy this. I enjoy lately, especially more and more, I'm like, I really did enjoy a book that, a contemporary romance, that it does deal with like more like heavier, themes and stuff like that, like more real life mental health stuff like that, just because I do feel like they are more compelling and also can be very relatable. So I did really enjoy this book. I do recommend this book. Like I said, if those earlier things I was talking about don't bother you, if you feel like you can overlook those or whatever, I think that this book is really enjoyable. I feel like I will be reading this author. I know he's working on another book. I will be reading that. Another book like in this universe, because they're on a hockey team, and I think the other book is about some of the other guys on the hockey team. But yeah, I don't know. I did really like this book. It's probably one of my one of the ones I liked probably more this month than like the other ones I've talked about so far. But yeah, the relationship's very toxic, you know, we love a toxic relationship when it's not our own, right? When it's not real life. In a book, I don't know, I like a toxic relationship sometimes. Okay, the next book I read is another male romance, Winging It With You by Chip Pons. This was a really cute, sweet book. It is about, let me think of the characters' names, because you know how I'm horrible with that. Theo and Asher. So Asher is literally like in the airport with his current boyfriend, and they are going to be going on like a reality TV show. This kind of gives me like an Amazing Race vibes. And literally they're like in the they're in the like security line to go, and his boyfriend decides like he doesn't want to and he wants to break up with him. He literally breaks up with him right there in the airport, which leaves Asher kind of like SOL. Like he's already signed on to do the show with a boyfriend, and and he wasn't even the one that wanted to do the show. His boyfriend wanted to do the show. Like, this is very much out of his comfort zone. So he like goes into the airport and he meets Theo, a pilot, at like, I think it's like the Fridays in the airport. And Theo is like a workaholic, and he's basically been told like he has to take time off. Like, he is flying too much. He's been grounded. He needs to take time off. And they, start talking, and basically Asher asks him to be his pretend boyfriend to go on the show with him. It's a really cute story. I really liked it. Then he agrees to do it, and they go on the show together. So you get like the challenges. I thought those were fun to read, like the challenges from the show. And then they get to know each other more, and I'm sure you can guess what happens there. I gave this book 4 stars. I am being very bad about telling you guys the rating before I start talking about the book. It is 4 stars. It is spicy. I remember it not being like super spicy, but it is spicy. But yeah, if you love a fake dating, I know fake dating is like has grown on me as a trope for like the last year or so. I really do enjoy it. If you don't like that, I highly recommend this one. It is a good time. It's written really well. Theo and Asher, especially Theo. Theo's very sweet. I really loved Theo. Yeah, it also follows like, they each got their own baggage they got to work through as well throughout this book. But yeah, I recommend this one. Okay, the next book I read was The Everking by L.J. Andrews. This was the only fantasy I read this in the month of July. And with fantasy, I don't like to talk about them too much because I don't want to get into any spoilers. This is a spin-off series, I will say that. I forget what the original series is called, but it is a spin-off series, and I have not read the original series. I will say, I think like you can kind of feel like this is a spin-off series when you read this. Like, I feel like there's maybe like a sense of like this is a world that's been previously set up, but I don't know, I guess because I haven't read, I don't know if I'm missing anything, but I think I understood the story fine without ever reading the other series. I don't know if I would appreciate this more if I read it. I don't know, but I did really enjoy this. I gave it 4 stars. Like I said, I don't want to talk about it too much. We have Eric is our main male character, and I can't for the life of me, Livia, I think, something along those lines. The main female, her name is not in the description of the book, so I apologize, but I believe that's her name or something along those lines, something with an L. But yeah, I think so. Eric is like the king of the Ever Kingdom, and they are like trapped where they can't come to like the main kingdom, main world, which I forget what that's called. Like, you guys think I have a hard time remembering contemporary romances after I've read multiple books to fantasy? Jeez, I was like, I can remember overarching like plots, but me remembering names of places and characters and stuff, yeah, good luck. So anyways, this is like, you know, I really enjoyed it. Was I necessarily like surprised by any of like the twists and turns or the reveals? No, not really. That has been a common like complaint of mine lately from fantasy. But I had a really good time reading it. I thought it was really interesting. I liked the characters a lot. I really liked Eric, especially. Our main female character accidentally like breaks the, I guess, like, I don't know if you would call it a curse or like of whatever is keeping Eric and the people of the Ever from coming to the other world. And he comes there, he takes her captive, because he has past issues obviously with her father and their kingdom and what they've done to him personally and his people. And I don't know, I think that's all I'm gonna say. Like I said, I really enjoyed it. I think it's a really fun read. It is, you got like a good found family cast, you know, secondary characters. I liked them, and I really enjoyed its dual POV. I enjoyed their banter with each other, and I do really want to continue this series. I just haven't yet. It just recently got picked up traditionally, so it's being re-released, republished, and I'm waiting to pick up the republished books so I can continue the series. I know the first one came out in August, I think, in stores, and the second one comes out maybe next month. So I think sometime somewhat soon. So once I get that one, I do want to continue this. I think that there's 3 books out currently, but I think that they're like kind of like duologies within, like, I think there's like the first 2 books are about a couple, and then the next books are about a couple. So like they're duologies within a series. I think that's what I gathered from what I read about them. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I highly recommend it. You got like piratey sea vibes. I don't know. That is why I put it on my TBR, because of the piratey vibes for the summer. The tagline is they stole his crown, so he stole their daughter. So yeah, if that intrigues you, I liked it. Like I said, it was good writing. It was a good world. It was fast paced. Highly recommend. Okay, the next book I read was also just like a random suggestion I saw on Instagram, and it's another novella called Party of Three by C. Travis Rice. I gave this, I think, 3.5 stars. And we have, I'm trying to really remember. I think if I remember right, this is like a novella that's part of, is this the one? I know I read one that was a novella that's like part of a bigger series. I think it's this one. It is this one, because it says 4.5. I have not read the series. I don't know why. I just wanted to read this one. It was a quick little novella. I saw people talking about it. I saw people liked it. So I was like, you know what? For once, I'm not going to care that I haven't read the rest of a contemporary romance, you know, world, and I'm going to read this one. And we have a polyamorous relationship in this story. So in this, we have a couple, Buckley and Mateo. And Mateo is like ex-military, and Buckley's like an EMT. Buckley has, they've been in a relationship for a while. He has helped Mateo kind of like accept his queerness and everything like that. And you know, they have a very happy relationship, but like Mateo hasn't like been fully, I think there's a celebration coming up. I think it's Mateo's birthday. I'm pretty sure. And he, like, Buckley knows about like his friendship with his like past like master sergeant, that had like saved him from like a training incident. But Mateo's never really told him like the full story of their like past relationship, that they had kind of a little thing. But like Jeff was the master sergeant, kind of like disappeared from his life, and like Buckley invites him secretly to the birthday party, and then they all kind of connect, and spice ensues. There's a lot of spice. This book is very spicy. But I think it was really sweet. I really liked the relationship between the three. I really liked Buckley. He's like very like, I don't know, golden retriever energy, I think. I thought it was a cute little novella. If you want just like a quick little sweet, spicy read, I recommend this one. Okay, the next book I read was Summer in the City by Alex Astor. And if you looked at my Goodreads, you know I have thoughts about this book. I don't know why I feel so strongly. I gave this book a 3 stars. It's fine, okay? It's fine. But there was just some things about this book that really irritated me. And I remember, like, I'm really bad about writing Goodreads reviews. I'm trying to be better, and I'm still failing. I'm failing. I'm always failing when it comes to writing reviews. I don't know why. It's so hard for me to, like, just, I don't know. Anyways, just sit down and, like, do it. I think I just always want to start the new book. Once I start the new book, the old book, especially if it didn't like make an impression on me, is forgotten. And then later I try to go back to write a review, and I'm just like, I don't know what to write. But sometimes books just hit me, and I'm like, I'm gonna go write a review. And I did this with this one. So if you've read this book and you want to see like my spoiler full of spoilers, you can go look at my Goodreads, which I always have linked in my description, because I gave like a full-on thing for this. But this book was just okay. Like I said, 3 stars is usually my like okay, but like there was just some frustrating things in here to me. So this is about, I don't remember their names. I'm so bad. Elle. Oh yes, I remember. Elle is the female main character, and let's see, what's the male main character's name? Parker. So Elle is like a screenwriter, and she is like trying to work on her new screenplay that she needs to get done by I think at the end of the summer. So she like house sits and moves into this apartment, and Parker is her next door neighbor. He is like a tech billionaire, and they had a chance meeting, like a quick meeting. I forget how many years prior to them moving in to becoming neighbors. And he didn't make a very good first impression on her. She thinks he's like some jackass, but she's like, that's partly what, like, one of the things I think I remember irritating about, like, literally they're like meeting from the past wasn't like that bad. Like their misunderstanding for her to like think he's like this jerk. I just felt like it really wasn't like that big of a deal, but like she like kind of obsesses over him all these years after, like, but in her head she's like, because she hates him. I don't know. I just felt like it was a little like melodramatic. It's a fake dating thing. They start fake dating. I didn't say that. And I think Parker is like a great guy throughout it. So I don't know. The hang-up she has and stuff, that's where the frustration comes in. So I'll just say that. Oh, Rigby came to talk about the books. Like, what a fool. Can we sit so I can film? Don't mind her. Hopefully she doesn't bump the camera. Okay, she didn't. And yeah, I ran to write about this because I was frustrated. Like I try really hard not to say I hate things like when it comes to books, but like I'm trying hard not to hate Elle in this book. She just does so many things that frustrate me, like and her reasoning for things I just can't get on board with. I did like the pacing of this book, and I thought the writing was good. I enjoyed reading their dates and everything and them getting to know each other, but just like Elle and her decisions and her thought process and the things she does, I really is what brought the rating of this book down for me, because I don't know. It kind of was just like, I don't know. They just didn't make sense to me. I'll just say that. So I don't know, maybe that intrigues you to read this book even more than a book I rave about. I don't know. But I don't know, read it, to form your own opinions. I never, and like I said, it wasn't horrible. I did give it 3 stars. The writing, everything was enough, but I was just like, maybe just prepare to be a little frustrated. If, I don't know, if you're anything like me, you might be with the female character in this one. Okay, the next book I read was one of my only 2 of 5-star reads that I had, or 3, maybe I had 3 5-star reads this month. But this was my first 5-star read of the month. Promise Me Sunshine by Kara Baston. Loved this book. This book is just beautiful. I'll just say that. It's a beautiful cover and it's a beautifully written book. We follow Linny and Miles in this. So Linny is she is processing her grief from losing her best friend. And basically she's just barely hanging on. This friend was like a sister to her. Like, they were friends since they were very young, and she loses her, obviously, and she's just like kind of barely hanging on to life. She's doing the bare minimum to just get by, and part of that is just doing like nannying. That's like what she's doing for a job, and she's only doing like short-term nannying jobs. She doesn't want to do anything long-term. She doesn't want to like get too involved with anyone, and she takes on a job, and she is watching Miles's niece, and so she meets him through that. They have a very rocky beginning. Miles is very grumpy. He's very, this is kind of like a Grump Sunshine trope, and very standoffish at first. He sees that she has, at one point he kind of sees that she has like this, so I think like a book falls out of her bag or something, and it's about grief. So I think he realizes like that's what she's going through, and he has also gone through this processing grief. He finds out that she has like this live again list that she made with her friend, and he wants to help her like check the things off this list. It's so beautiful. I think this isn't like a traditional, romance happy ending. It's not. It's very much, they bond very much over their grief, and they develop such a strong friendship between the 2 of them. We also have other little side characters that I love in this book. I can't recommend this enough. I think that everyone should read it. I know a lot of people like this author's other book called Ready or Not. I have not read that one yet, but I am more intrigued to read it now because, yeah, I just love this one. I highly recommend you go out and read this. But it is going to maybe, pull at your heartstrings a little bit. It might be a little difficult for some people to read. So, look into the book before you start it if you think that. But yeah, 5 stars. Loved this book. All right, 3 more to go. The next book I read was Secret Service by Tal Bauer. I love Tal Bauer's books. He writes male romances, all in different genres. I've read some of his sports ones. I've read a like single dads one. This one was very different for me, and I think that this book would make a great movie. I remember talking to my husband about this one too. I was telling him all about it. I'm like, don't you think that'd be such a great movie? I just think it would be like a really good action movie. So in this book, I feel like the cover does not like give you any idea of what the book's about. So Tal Bauer is almost like, I gave this book 5 stars. I think I've given almost all of Tal Bauer's books I've read 5 stars. I really love his writing. But yeah, so we follow Reese. He is like Reese and Brennan are our 2 male leads. And Reese is a Secret Service agent. He is like the top Secret Service agent to the president, who is Brennan. And I don't know, this book is just action and romance and espionage, mystery. It is like suspenseful. It is like go. The whole book takes place within 24 hours, but you do go back and forth in the timeline because you are in the current timeline is 24 hours of what's going on, but like you do flashbacks to get to know Reese and Brennan and see how their relationship unfolded, and how But yeah, I don't know. I don't want to say too much about it. It is like a wild ride, twists and turns. You don't know who to trust. Very much like I said, I think it would make a really good movie. I never watched 24, but I saw somebody in somebody's review. They said it was like, you know, very 24 Jack Bauer vibes. But I really did enjoy this. It was like I couldn't put it down because I needed to know what happened. I needed to know like all the things, and it was just really fun. It was a really fun reading experience. I highly recommend this one, because this is like something a little different too from a typical contemporary romance, because you have all like I said, the action and the suspense and everything tied up into it. Yeah, definitely read this one. Like, I highly recommend it. The next thing I read was technically a bunch of novellas, but I only counted it as one book, because technically I downloaded it as one book on my Kindle. But this was called My Dark Jock series. I don't really know. I think there might be like 4 novellas that make up the whole book, 4 or 5. This is by Arden Long. I just saw this again, like on a whim on Instagram, I think, Instagram ad or whatever, and I was just like, I'm gonna give it a try. I gave it 3 stars. It was, some of the novellas were better than the others. Don't ask me which, because like I said, I just read them all like as a whole book, so I'm rating it as a whole book overall, even though they're technically novellas. Anyways, we have, it's a college college football romance, I guess. Like, the football is like not even the big part of it at all. I mean, I guess I don't know. It's very spicy. Okay. Yeah, it's very spicy. But yeah, I don't know. It was like I think I read all of the little novellas within like a day and a half. I think it's fun. It's like fun. I don't know if fun's the right word. I don't know. Sometimes I feel weird when I say I enjoy something or it's fun when it's a little bit on the darker side. I mean, I don't think this was like super dark, but it definitely dealt with like, there is story there. I will say that. It's not just spice. It's very spice heavy, especially I forget what happens in which of the novellas. Some of them are very more spice heavy. I think later it gets a little spicy heavy and like more like character, story focused. But yeah, it was okay. It was fun. Like I said, I enjoyed it. I read them all, so obviously I didn't hate it. 3 stars. I don't think I've really said what it's about. Our characters are Malcolm and Nolan. Malcolm is like a very brooding, quiet character. Everyone thinks that he hates, like, he's just like, he's not friendly, he's not outgoing. Nolan thinks he hates him. Nolan's like the star player. I think he's like a running back on their football team. And Nolan catches Malcolm doing something. And then Malcolm catches Nolan filming him doing something. Okay, he's filming him doing something. And then kind of uses that to start a relationship of sorts. Not a typical one, okay? Yeah, that's all I'll say. But there, like I said, there is story there. There's some Malcolm especially dealing with some, family dramas and things like that. I don't know. It was a good time. I enjoyed it. I had fun reading it. Okay, and the last book I read in July was The Wedding People by Alison Esbach. This is a literary fiction, a little bit of a different read for me, but I had been really curious about this book. I did this one on audio. My friend had listened to it. She told me it was really good audio. I do agree. I think it is a really good book on audio. And I really enjoyed this book. We follow Phoebe. She goes to this like popular inn, this like high fancy inn in Rhode Island. She comes dressed in like a green dress and all fancy, and she's going to stay there, and there's a wedding happening that weekend, and she gets mistaken as one of the wedding guests. But she comes there. It's hard to kind of talk about it without giving anything away, because I was surprised at what this book was really about once I started reading it. But she basically she meets the bride of that wedding, and they just kind of form this like interesting little friendship, I guess you would call it. They keep kind of confiding in each other. I think they both like kind of take advantage of how easy it is to just like confide in this complete stranger, because like they have no preconceived notions of your life or judgments, like, and they just kind of keep doing it, and they kind of form this friendship, and like the weekend just goes a different way than Phoebe originally had planned. This book explores mental health and kind of like a little bit kind of like finding meaning and a lot of what it is to be a woman, I think, in society. I really enjoyed this book. I thought it was very interesting. I highly recommend it. I don't know if I said I gave this 5 stars as well. My 5-star reads came towards the end of the month in July for sure. I don't read a whole lot of contemporary romance, and I'm not contemporary. This isn't contemporary literary fiction. I think this is one of the best I have read. Yeah, I highly recommend this. Again, it's good as audio. If you like audio, try this one out for sure. It was very much surprising. I had a feeling I was gonna like it, just reading the the description. Oh, I guess I had bookmarks in the book. I thought like it sounded, but like it the way I was surprised. I was just like so pleasantly surprised by this book. So I highly recommend this. Okay, so those are all the books. How many books did I read? Let's count. I didn't even give a count. As you can see, I have reached my 100 book goal for the month, for the year, for the month. I don't read that fast. I'm currently at 102 books for the year. So I did up my goal from 100 to 130. I wanted to do 150, but I don't want to stress myself out. So I'm gonna do 130 and we'll go from there. But I read, how many books did I read? Those are the 13 books I read in July. I hope I gave enough information on them. I hope I remembered enough, considering it is now September 1st. So it's been a little while since I read these. Like I said, it was a mediocre month. There were some really good gems in there, though. I think I had 3 5-star reads that month. So not bad. But I did have a lot of 3-star reads, which, it's fine. The more you read, you're going to get a bigger, they're not all going to be your favorites, right? But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that wrap up. I hope it wasn't too all over the place. Let me know what you read in July. Do you remember what you read in July? Do you remember what your favorite read was in July? If it wasn't for Goodreads and tracking that, I don't know. Just thank God I have that. And thank God I'm at least good at keeping that up to date. Because, like I said, Ruby just bumped the camera. Because like I told you guys, I have left the book journal in the past. It is no longer being filled out. But at least I have Goodreads, and I am good about at least, might not write a full review, but I am at least good about going in there and putting my star rating and tracking how many I've read. So, but yeah, so let me know what your favorite read was in July. Let me know if you've read any of the ones I read, if you agreed with how I felt about them and how I rated them, or if you don't. Let me know if you thought I was crazy liking some of these, I don't know, or disliking some of these. Let me know all the stuff in the comments. And if you like this, I would love it if you liked and subscribed, and I'll see you in the next video.